And now we do have the sprint underway. I do apologize for the wait, but it is lights out, and away we go. We have the McLaren of Ghostin right on the back and going to the inside of the Williams as we run into turn 1. And it looks like we have a spin for the Alfa Romeo of, I believe that was XD Wavy, really caught in a jam and sandwiched together between two cars. And they have now spun out at turn 1, but up ahead we have the Mercedes trying to go around the Williams, but not working as they get squeezed off track at turn 3. We already have a penalty for next now, 3 seconds I do believe, and as well as Joshua. And now Fife's up ahead. I believe they moved past Ghostin into McLaren and now gaining on True Loki God. So what could they do as Jack is being pulled closer to the Red Bull of next? We have yellow flags being waved. Where is that from? It looks like it has cleared up quite quickly. The front, about 5 cars, really all the same. The Mercedes trying to lunge down the inside of the Red Bull coming into the final corner. They nearly spun round. But they're now gaining and gaining on the back of the Red Bull. Are they going to try their luck into turn 1? No, they're going to wait behind it. We've still got no safety car yet, although we do have a lot of yellow flags. Now Jack down the inside of limits of the Red Bull into turn 3. Now behind we have Lovelo going on to Red Bull, who was forced to cut across turn 9. And they will surely have a time penalty for that. Oh, and we have the Red Bull of next running wide at turn 11. And that allows a whole bunch of cars through, Blue Frog being one of them. Ghostin now gaining and gaining on the back of 5-star as we cross the line going into lap 3. Oh yes, track info, 5.3 kilometer long circuit, we've got 14 corners, relatively medium speed around Australia. We've got 4 DRS zones, record breaking number of DRS zones, but all of them really kind of short. So there is a lot of overtaking, so we'll see this top few cars are being moved around everywhere as we see. The massive benefit is everyone's starting on a mixture of mediums and softs. We do have East Groove, who is currently running in P1 on soft tires. They will wear out quite quickly, and it is proven as True Loki God, who started on mediums, is catching and catching. We've got Ghostin now on the back of Fife there. They're going to pull to the inside. We're going to go side by side into turn 9. And who's going to win out as Fifester maybe runs a bit deep. Ghostin trying to switch back into turn 11 now. Being forced to the inside. What could they do as we still run side by side? Fifester trying to stick it round outside, but eventually backs out. And now we have True Loki God gaining and gaining on the Ferrari, who is flashing right ahead into turn 3. The Ferrari will have no grip at the end of the race, but let's see what True Loki could do, as they are just sticking quite nicely to the back of the Ferrari. Now we have the True Lucky God moving to the inside. And they seem to have passed the Ferrari, but maybe running a bit too wide at turn 11. Leaves the door open for East Grove on the switchback, and they have got it back. East Grove staying in P1, but now I believe True Loki God will have some DRS to pull ahead. Down the pit straight we go now. Now we have True Loki God getting back past the Ferrari. I believe the Ferrari, no, they'll have no DRS, so this is an opportunity for True Loki God to push ahead. Moore's now on the back of Blue Frog. This is a fight for 2 points. They're gonna make a lunge down the inside of turn 3. Maybe the Mercedes did run a bit wide, but that was Moore's, I believe. Losing it adds X off turn 3. And losing a lot of time as well, as I believe that is Spark who has spun it as the exit of turn 4. And they're gonna have to get back now, but it seems pointless as they are now seconds behind the points position. Now we do have a safety car, as I was not looking away, was looking away. Sorry. And now this is terrible news for the people on penalties who'd be wanting to push away. That includes Jaxi and Nex, who are currently running into points positions without penalties. I believe there was a mix-up at the top there, but East Groove let Trinity go past. And there we have XP Lazy, currently running in P18. A gloom day, not just in Melbourne, but it is also a gloom day for the Alpha Neo team. So it's nice to be catching up to the safety car now. It is out for another lap. So a few laps under the safety car, 2 more than we probably would have done. Now he has catched up to the back of the safety car. We're looking now, leading the pace, and this person will be struggling for grip, and the safety car is the last thing they would have wanted. Safety car, it's absolutely chaos at Melbourne. There's tons of safety cars. I mean, these are the stealer amount of incidents already happening in Australia, and to round this weekend off is really tier 5 and also tier 8. And I'm sure we still have a lot more incidents to come. Only one retirement in this race, sprint race that is, is quite impressive. We do see maybe even up to 10 retirements in the main race, so tier 5, keeping it clean just for now, but on the safety car restart, everyone is going to be prone to a lot of drama, a lot of overtaking opportunities. It's cause for a lot of chaos, and will it be chaos at the restart? We will have to find out. It is True Loki God leading the grid away. We will pop up the tyre situation. Of course, we have next Zach C. Most people currently running in the points, but are on penalties. Now, True Loki God, what can they do? They're leaving it late to go, but now they will go on the final corner, and they seem to have got away very nicely. And Ghosting is now gaining on the back of LaFerrari, who will have no grip at all. Already mentioned that. Unable to do anything into turn 1. Everyone seems to be keeping it clean just for now. And I believe that is Blood Pringle on their teammate Fearless. I believe they tried to move on the inside, and now they force Joshua to cut the chicane off turn 3. I believe that is Moores. They nearly seem to have lost it behind the Mercedes of Zach C, but they stick behind in P7 as who is it falling? And it is Joshua and Spark involved in the incident. They're down in P17 and 18 now. And they have really nothing to play for, as I believe them two collided and Joshua was in the gravel. So was Spark, so let's see what can happen now, as everyone seems to be very nicely behaved. The Red Bull of next will have some positions to gain. If they want to score points, but Blood Pringle down the inside of turn 13. And that forces the Red Bull off, and now Fearless tries to sneak on the outside, but not working. As the Red Bull really forced them off track. Very dangerously done. And something will be said about that in the steward's room. As who was it getting a penalty? I believe it was Lovelo getting a time penalty. And was that F1 Moore sliding through turn 3, leaves the door open for Blood Pringle, who will be forced to the outside. F1 Moore not having a penalty, they'll be wanting to catch up if they want to score some more points. Jaxie right ahead has got a penalty, so Moores will be wanting to take advantage of that. But Blood Pringle now tries to make a move round the outside. No DRS just yet. And that was Moores being tapped by Blood Pringle, who tried to go round outside, I believe it was, and unsafely rejoining the track as well. And Moores spun it at, I believe that was turn 10, I believe. And they are most definitely out of points conditions, I was right. Now we do have yellow flags being waved, and that is, I believe, for the Alpine, who is off as the final corner. Or have they gone into pit lane? Not quite too sure about that. That was Lovelo being overtaken by Taxi, so all these people with penalties are really going to be bunched up. And this will be huge for Harry and Phyllis if they can catch up, and that is a Red Bull up next. I believe they were horizontal on the racing line at the X of turn 4. That was very unsafe, but it seems like they have got back. Now XD Wavy coming back from, I believe it was P18. XD Wavy now forcing Alpine off the track really as they both go through turn 11. XT Wavy has got penalties, so I don't believe they're looking to score any points as, yes, we are on the last lap and it will be True Loki God. It is Williams' first win of Season 5 in Tier 5. And it is brought by True Loki God, starting on pole at Jeddah. They won't manage to carry through, but they have won now, making amends. And it is True Loki God. Taking the win for Williams, and it is East Grove who started on pole, but dropped down, and is still a second driver of the day. It was a nice performance. And it is Ghostin now rounding off the podium, and this will be the way everyone starts for the race. Now as we get ready to start the session, it seems to be quite cloudy, but it is sunshine over the track. And it is starting off dry. Of course, wet conditions are quite known around Australia. We've had Australia, God, completely other side of the Australia. We had a lot of races already been wet as well. You have a double the chance really with a sprint race for it to rain, so let's see what could happen, as it seems to be dry for the start. Is Sonny on pole? What could Sonny do off the line? And it is Sonny quite nicely off the line. Everyone seems to be going on those hard tyres, but who has got a better start? It's Ghostin on the outside of the Williams now through turn 1, and they actually spin the Williams out, and the Ferrari of MIF East Grove goes with the Williams, and they are both out of the race. And it is F1 Moors involved in that as well. As exit of turn 1, it looks like everyone has gone off really, and now everyone goes through turn 2 now. But that was, I believe, a tangle between True Loki God and Ghostin, who was going now round outside of turn 1 and got the move done. But True Loki God really tapping the side of the McLaren to make the driver sprint. There now. Now there is a safety car, and it was a tangle at the top to bring it out. Oh, and that was Blood Pringle tapping the back of Zamiro in Alfa Romeo. and what in the world is that Aston doing? What the hell? And we do have a safety car for another lap. And now it is Ghostin leading us away, and they will go now. They're leaving it quite late, but it does work as the Mercedes of Blue Frog is absolutely miles away. And that is Blood Pringle now being overtaken by Colossine to give the position back. Everyone behind really seems to be in a field of their own. Who was it slowing down the safety car? It might have just been Blue Frog. But now at the top we have Fearless riding closely with Blue Frog, who seems to have catched up with Ghostin themselves. Fearless now on the soft tyres, they'll be hoping to get a lot of ground. Everyone here really behind Blood Pringle is in a field of their own, being separated by the top 6, and that was Blood... I swear, ladies and gentlemen, they are lagging so much on my screen. You're seeing this, everyone on the screen. So much. We have Zamiro now on the back of Lahas. They're gonna force Zamiro to the outside of turn 9. Could they pull it off? Maybe Lahas running a bit wide. And was that Alfa Romeo trying to get a better exit? But not working as of yet. And Zamiro now on the inside of the Haas, maybe forcing him a bit wide in fact. But the Haas still riding side by side, and now I believe they will back out of that move. And was that a piece of debris flying off one of the cars in the top 4? I did definitely see it, not just imagining it. Now these top 3, this is going to be a battle and a half. Everyone seems to be keeping in pace with each other. And this is huge for the Mercedes, of course. You do want to stick to the back of a car really, and really slipstream them with that DRS. But just staying behind to carry you away from the rest of the grid, which is so crucial since we have 4 DRS zones. DRS is not enabled this lap, so they're gonna just have to stick behind that McLaren for a bit longer. But that McLaren in fact is running wide and running into gravel at turn 10. That allows the Mercedes to get a move done even before turn 11. And now Fearless is right on the back of this fight. Huge gap here, 4.1 seconds between Nex and Lovelo. T10 to T9, so there might not be a lot of action going on there, as that was, I believe, Blood Pringle running across the curb of turn 13. Well, I wouldn't really trust it. They are lagging a lot, but it seems to be like Lovelo is past. Right now, Ghostin on the back of the Mercedes. Could they try and get that P1 spot back? Just stick into the back of the Mercedes currently. I believe DRS might just be enabled this lap. And running wide in fact through turn 4. That is of course quite huge, as track limits might be a problem around Australia. It has been for quite a bit, and it might just continue into today. And that is Blood Pringle retiring from the session. But right now up ahead we have Ghostin round outside of the Mercedes. Nicely done, and just ahead going into braking zone off turn 9. And it might just be a safety car again. We do have a few retirements, Blood Pringle being one of them. I believe they have lost it at the second sector at, I believe it was turn 5. Something definitely happened there, but no safety car as of yet. Now we do have the Mercedes of Blue Frog gaining and gaining onto McLaren, and Joshua, their teammate, becomes the next one to retire. That makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 retirements in this race so far, and that was the McLaren going wide at the exit of turn 10. That leaves them open to an overtake from Zamiro now, as well as Fearless. And this is a huge fight for that first place spot, and it seems to be between the top 5. Right, we have Tamira now going round the outside of Fearless, but they seem to be staying ahead just for now, and they're going to get DRS on the back of the Mercedes, and staying in that 1 second gap is crucial as Tamiro tapping the rear of the Alpine of Fearless, as I believe they cut across the chicane of turn 10 and 9. Well, that was absolutely reckless from Alfa Romeo, but it seems to be Fearless is slowing down and might lose soft tyres just be hitting their maximum and now degrading as they seem to be falling off the pace of everyone else. Trying to not give a slipstream to anyone else, trying to stay ahead at the moment. And we do have a yellow flag. It is in the third sector and it was a Ferrari, but cleared up quickly. Right, Zamiro on the back of the Alpine. They'll try their luck down the inside, but just too far back to even get a nosing. As that was Jamiro finally getting past Alpine, who is going to have poor grip on these supplies and might just be coming in for a pit stop. You do ideally want to go soft medium around Australia, but I think high degradation might just be higher today, as you have clear skies. Also a warmer track, something to do with that. Now we have Alfa Romeo not really gaining any time back on the Alpine and really staying within that crucial 1 second gap, and this might just tog them along into the back of Bullfrog, who seem to be running quite comfortably in P1, but maybe not for long, as they're just closing that gap of 1.6 seconds probably, and the tow-in Fearless Ghostin and Zach C along as well. And that was Tamira smashing into the wall of turn 5. And they have a crucial front wing damage. They don't even have a front wing. And it is now a safety car. A lot of debris flying all over the track, as I believe they just lost it. And this will be absolutely lovely for Fearless to come into pit lane, probably onto some medium tyres. So this will be absolutely great. And Tamira now, in fact, DNFing from the session. What has happened there is they're just on the side of the track through the final DRS straight. Yes, they didn't have to, and that was Nexo running through the gravel and in fact spinning out and losing a part of their front wing under safety car conditions. And everyone coming into pits now. The Mercedes will be held up a lot by this. Seems to be like no one has jumped each other as of yet into pit lane. Yes, we still have the top 3. Blue Frog, Fearless and Ghosting. And we have 13 cars left remaining in the session. And interesting, we have most of the grid going on hard tires, which is actually not the way I'd expect it. 5-star beans are only one to go on those medium tires, as well as Carlos Sainz right at the back of the grid. 5-star now on those mediums, they're going to be very fast and have a lot more grip, so if they can just get ahead, and then they're going to have to defend for the last few laps if they are going to lose tire degradation, but I don't believe they'll use as much of it as everyone else is expecting. Ghosting now, let's see the penalties. Ghosting now, 3 seconds. Lovelo has a drive-through penalty, they'll have to serve it maybe after the safety car. Next was 3 seconds, Lengwin with 5. Now we do have the safety car in this lap, and pacing the field, it will be up front, Blue Frog in the Mercedes. And they're doing quite well in the stand-ins, in fact I do believe. Going off a winning weekend at Qatar, they'll be hoping to win again in Australia, and could it just be, as they are in fact leading the tier 5 stand-ins and wanting it to remain that way. What could they do, as they're leaving it quite late? They might just go now. Yes, they will go now, and Alpine is quite close on the back of Fearless as they run into turn 1. The Alpine gaining and gaining, but not gaining enough, and the rest of the field seems to be scrambled everywhere else, but close to the top 3. As Harry, a 10th gap now to 3rd place, and they're going to want to close that gap quite quickly. No overtaking being done just yet. Now 5-star will have more grip on those medium tyres on the back of the track. See now, I believe they scored 1 point last weekend, so they'll be wanting to improve and doing quite well right now, running in 5th place. No penalties for these two. Fearless now on the back of Blue Frog. This is the fight for P1. And Fearless seems to be closing, but not closing enough. Now, the question is, what can they do? Could they get a good exit for the run down to turn 11? Yes, they do, but could they just be a bit too far behind? It looks like Blue Frog used a lot of their ERS to stay ahead. And now, Fearless really conserving their ERS. Waiting to get past Mercedes. The ERS will be enabled the lap after next. 5-star still behind Taxi, and I'll be hoping that they'd want to get past quite quickly, in their mind at least. If they want to score a podium maybe, or even better, as track limits are really a problem, as we have a lot of people currently on penalties. And if there is a safety car at the end, which is quite likely in fact with all the collisions we've already had, then the result might just be changed drastically as the Mercedes leaves the door wide open for Fearless to go round outside, but Fearless nearly losing it and tapping the wall at the outside of turn 4. They seem to have stayed ahead just for now, as I believe that was Blue Frog running very slowly and maybe even forcing Fearless off track. A lot will be said about that after in the steward's room, but it seems to be fine right now, as Fearless, they seem to still have all their front wing left, but they are kind of slow compared to the rest of the grid at the moment, as Blue Frog will probably try and get ahead. Oh my god, and really sending it down the inside of turn 11 and tapping the rear tyre of Fearless. This is very dirty driving from the Mercedes, I must say. And wow, what dirty driving it is. Jesus Christ, from the Mercedes. Really taking all risks and sending it down the inside of Fearless. Nearly even DNFing them, I must say, at turn 4. And I don't believe we have DRS just yet. These drivers will be wanting to keep that 1 second gap going into next lap. No, we do have DRS in fact, and Blue Frog will be a sitting duck to everyone behind as Fearless gaining and gaining on the back of the Mercedes, but just having to back out. Now the Mercedes not having the best exit, but they won't have any DRS and they will be a sitting duck to Fearless, who now goes to the inside doing the move lay done, but leaving space for the Mercedes this time. Key difference there, Spicer behind it. Runs wide I do believe, but they have grabbed a position from Zach somewhere in there, and up to P5 currently for the AlphaTauri. Now we have on the back of the Mercedes, it's still Fearless, and the Mercedes really crucially has to keep within that 1 second gap of the McLaren, who'll be wanting to push away because of that 3 second time penalty. So let's see what could happen. Oh, and the Mercedes might have just fallen out of that 1 second gap, which is quite crucial. No, they do just about remain within DRS range. And if I was Fearless, I'd be wanting to DNF that Mercedes for its dirty driving, but we do remain still the Mercedes ahead. And currently winning the race, provisionally, is the Mercedes of Blue Frog without any penalties. For the remaining 13 laps, they're just going to want to keep on really closing that gap of 1 second and just remaining within DRS, really slipstreaming the McLaren. They have nothing to worry about without any penalties as of yet. Zach C now falling off the top 4. I believe they were quite about in the top 5, but now it's really a fight between the top 4 for the win of the race. And now I believe Fearless has fallen out of the 1 second gap of DRS of Blue Frog, and now they're going to be left vulnerable to Harry behind. And this might be for the final few laps. League Racing turned dirty. Blue Frog closing and closing on Ghostin. Could they try a move? They're gonna stick behind for now. Ghostin will be wanting a good exit if they want to keep that P1 spot. And Harry now picking themselves up 3 seconds, as well as Fearless in the Alpine picking up 3 seconds. And a lot more people are getting penalties, and this will definitely help those behind. I'm talking about Blue Frog and Taxi, as well as Spicer. Still very much in contention for a race win. And this is exactly what they would have wanted. Of course, 14 corners, it is quite a medium length track. The average lap time is around 1 minute 22 seconds in the race, especially on these hard tyres. So you do have to believe a lot of people will be picking up penalties, and we do have 29 laps, so a few laps, that's for sure. Blue Frog really falling off the back of Ghostin, if anything. Maybe they might have just missed their chance to get past the McLaren. Now we have Blue Frog gaining on the back of Ghostin, and what could they do? They might just want to be slipstreaming that McLaren, as I said, but you could always go for a move and push away if you have the natural pace, and it might just be a safety car, as that was Carlos Sainz into Ferrari, retiring at the 4th DRS zone, I do believe, in the 3rd sector to bring out the safety car. Probably spun it or something, having no grip at the exit of what was turn 10. Now this will definitely not be the situation that Fearless, Harry and all those people on penalties would have wanted, and this is definitely not ideal for them. But I do believe maybe a few people will come into pit lane. You only lose a few positions if you're someone like Fearless going into pits onto some soft tires. You're going to have a lot of pace at the end of the race. Pace at the end of the race. Oh, it and I didn't even know it. I aced this commentary like I aced my race. Ace. You get it. Fearless now does come into pit lane. A lot of people will be coming to pits, and Ghostin, who was running in P1, is one of them. And they are putting on medium tires to the end. Maybe those hards won't even last, in fact, as yes, Fear is getting a new front win. They were tapped by the Mercedes of Blue Frog, I do believe, when they nearly went into the wall. In fact, maybe even did, and got themselves front wing damage and nearly even DNFing. It did look like a very bad incident. And now only 12 cars remain running in this session. It's a Mercedes 1-2 currently. Could they keep it that way? They will be vulnerable on those old hard tires, as it will pop up the tire situation right now. Most people opt in for the soft tires over the new mediums. So that's very, very interesting. Maybe those people who already used up those softs have gone to mediums, but I would have done softs personally, but it really depends if you already use them. GTA Play is currently ghosted in the session. Now we do have Blue Frog taking us away once again from the safety car, and their teammate will definitely let them get a good lead, and there seems to be a huge gap between Ghostin and Harry, but right now Ghostin gaining on the back of XD Wavy, who is a driver who stayed out on those old hot tires, so they will have no grip at all. But oh my god, and what was that from GSRL Crop? As I believe they forced Fearless nearly into the wall, running wheel to wheel. And now Ghostin does get past Wavy going around the outside of turn 3. Don't see many overtakes being made there, but now Ghostin has a chance to win this race on some new rubber. Zaxi really all over the place, and they'll be wanting to keep Ghostin behind them for as long as possible to help out their teammate. But Ghostin might just be getting past and making it inevitable. Now Ghostin on the inside of Zaxi, and they do get the move done. Ghostin now gaining on the back of Blue Frog. And now they might just be wanting to make a move and thinking about a dive down the inside of turn 3, but backing out of that quite smartly. And that was Harry getting past XD Wave, who has no absolute grip on those hard tires, and in fact running wide through, I believe that was turn 4. They were running side by side with Spicer, who seemed to be wanting to get the move done quite quickly. Fivester now on the back of XD Wavy, being forced to the outside, going into turn 9. What could happen? XD Wavy seems to still be side by side with AlphaTauri, and tapping the rear tire of AlphaTauri, nearly sending them spinning, but they do continue for the moment. And now, Ghostin will have a good chance to get past the Mercedes, who will be left vulnerable, wanting to remain with that 3-second gap given from Ghostin's time penalty. So let's see if they could just remain that gap. And I believe that was a taxi going into grass and now getting a slow exit. But up ahead we have Fivester on the inside of Harry. People are moving up and down, left, right and centre. Fivester now seems to have got the move done on Harry. Harry did try to stick it, and now we do have another safety car, and what is that for? XD Wavy is off the circuit. I believe they have spun at the exit of, what was it? Turn 3, I do believe. Fearless now going into pit lane. They might just be going on some soft tires, and they are going aggressive, and they do need a front win in fact. They're gonna have to catch up to that safety car quite quickly, as I do believe it might be coming in this lap. We don't have much time remaining. Oh, right, here we go. We are underway once again. Fourth safety car restart, I do believe that it was. And now Ghostin leads us away. And it looks like Blue Frog is right on the cusp of being overtaken by Fifester, who seems to be much faster on those new soft tyres. But Blue Frog managing to stay ahead just for now. They're going to be left vulnerable coming into turn 3. And I believe that is someone who has had a moment. Nope, it seems to be just overtaken. Now there will be collisions at laps for sure as we approach the end of the race and the final lap. There will definitely be a few collisions as everyone is fighting for really a lot of points, in fact, if you can even gain a few positions, as everyone seems to be bunched up right together. Fifester now tries their luck round the outside of Blue Frog. Blue Frog trying to stay ahead and in fact staying ahead, but they're going to have a bad exit from turn 10, and both of these have got no penalties as of yet. And let's see what could happen here as Lovelow becomes the next driver to DNF and leaving no space at all. Fifester gets spun out by the Mercedes of Blue Frog, tapping rear tires, and that was a huge incident. And there will be a lot to say as next mounting the curb, very interestingly, and now being overtaken by GSRL Prob. Fearless now gaining and gaining on Wavy. All of these have 9 seconds in time penalties. Fifester now becomes the next driver to get a 3-second time penalty, and it has to wait until lap 28. Oh, and nearly spinning out because of Zach C. Really trying to send it down the inside and backing off just in time. Next now, dropping to P10. P10 and 11 for Red Bull, not a great day for them. Now Lengwin trying their luck around the outside of Fifester and in fact getting the move done past Fifester, whose race has been destroyed by that tangle with Blue Frog. And Blue Frog wanting to stay within that 3-second gap of Ghostin, but it just doesn't seem to be working. And Ghostin is set to win this race. Having a great safety car restart now, sending it down the inside of the Mercedes is Lengwin. And now we have 2 wide into turn 12. It's both of the AlphaTauris, and this allows XD Wavy to squeeze round the outside. And this is a great battle lasting into the final lap. Now we have Fearless running side by side with AlphaTauri, who is flashing without any ERS. AlphaTauri really just have their race degraded ever since that contact, and the XD Wavy nearly spinning out, being tapped by the side of GSRL Crop, and we have seen a lot of incidents just like that. Oh, and we have 3 wide into turn 3, and that was a huge incident. Fifester might just not be scoring any points at all this race, as they drop behind the CTSC plane now. Going 3 wide into turn 3, that was never going to work, and Fearless on the outside had no option, as I believe that was XD Wavy on the inside just trying to squeeze in, but not working, as Lengwin now overtakes the taxi, and CTSC play, who has been ghosted all race, might still score a few points in fact. Fearless now needs to extend their gap and extend, because it might just be good enough for them to rescue their race. Taxi now riding on board on the back of Lengwin. They're gonna win anyway. This fight, they're gonna win this fight anyway, but... Oh, and we have Blue Frog. This is a fight to the line. 1/10 in it. Blue Frog is closing, but it's gonna be 200ths of a second too far away. Taxi. It's a double podium for Mercedes just for now, and it's a jubilation for the Mercedes team getting a double podium, but it is Ghostin winning the race by, what was it, 200ths of a second. It was a fight to the line because of the time penalty, and I dare to say if Blue Frog had just maybe got a few more hundredths of a second, or maybe used a bit more of their ERS, then they would have really maybe even won the race, as it is Ghostin, 32 points from this round. Blue Frog, P2 in the sprint, I believe it was. No, P4 in the sprint, and coming to P2 in the race. It's a lovely weekend for the Mercedes team, as I believe they get the most points from this round. But that might change right after. But Ghostin wins the race. They got a podium in the sprint and starting it off strong, winning in the race. No controversy about that at all, but look at that gap. 200ths of a second and 9,000ths of a second. Wow, just wow. This race had everything, all the commotion, just about everything really. And it is Ghostin eventually taking the race win. And I will see you next round. It is round 6 next, and we are off to Spain. This is, of course, the final race. Sup, XD Wavy. I'm sure that person won't be too happy about the results. And